So I know the lockout's going on, but there are a lot of really good MLB free agents that are unsigned, and I know that my predictions, well, they're gonna be wrong on a lot of these guys, so I figured why not go back, take a look at who the top free agents are that are remaining, and kind of give you, I don't want to say a prediction, but a team that is the best fit for them right now based on all the moves that we saw already. So today's the best fit. If you want to see me do my sleeper picks, the teams that I think could sneaky get these guys when the lockout inevitably does end, drop a like on today's video. 2,500 likes, I'll give you the sleeper picks for every single free agent that I mentioned today. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content coming at you, as well as click that bell icon, get notified whenever I'm uploading. Get in the comment section down below, let me know what teams you think are the best fit for these free agents, and drop me a follow on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Link is in the description. I think I got 13 names here. Let's get started off with a big one, Carlos Correa. So Carlos Correa, the top remaining free agent on the market. A lot of teams have been interested in him, and basically everybody could use him. He is one of the best shortstops in the game, and probably like a top 25 player in the league, especially when he's healthy. And he showed he can be healthy last year and not only be elite with the bat, but as well with the glove. I mean, he won the platinum glove along with the gold glove, was an all-star, finished 5th in the MVP voting, 26 homers, 34 doubles, 92 RBIs, a 279 average, 366 on base, 485 slugging, and 850 OPS. I mean, those are just absolutely disgusting numbers. Carlos Correa was a beast. Now, who do I think is the best fit for Carlos Correa this offseason? Well, now that a lot of the teams have kind of made their moves in terms of shortstops, I hate to be boring here, but I do think it's the Houston Astros. I think if you look at what they need, which is going to be a shortstop, they've got a big gaping hole there, and you look at that team, I mean, you've seen it the last 4 or 5 years. Carlos Correa is an integral part of that Houston Astros lineup and that franchise, and I think it's time they pay him. If you're going to pick one guy on this team to make your franchise player, it's got to be Carlos Correa. I know there's always injury concerns, but he is just so incredibly talented. He's only going into his 27-year-old season. It seems like a no-brainer for the Astros and Carlos Correa to have a reunion, get back together, and keep pushing forward in that American League West. Carlos Correa's best fit to me right now is the Houston Astros. Next, let's switch it to the reliever market. Kenley Jansen, one of the better relievers in baseball over the last, 5-6 years. He was great in Los Angeles for a long period of time, and as we know, he may have been falling off a little bit in recent seasons, but Kenley Jansen is still very good and would have a lot of value to a team. Last year, in 69 appearances, nice, 69 innings, nice, 2.22 ERA, a FIP at 3.08, a WHIP at 1.043, striking out 11.2 batters per 9, walking 4.7, 0.5 home runs per 9, and only 4.7 hits per 9. So yes, while the strikeouts were down and the walks were up, he was limiting that hard contact pretty well, and he still was able to get 38 saves and finish 52 games for the Dodgers. So yeah, Kenley Jansen still got a lot of value, and at the back end of a bullpen for somebody, probably as a closer still, he's going to be really valuable. And a team to me that just feels like a no-brainer for Kenley Jansen is going to be the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, we know that Jordan Romano was really good in 2021, and he seems like he's going to be a nice piece for them. But you can never have too much bullpen depth, and Kenley Jansen adds some very much needed depth to that Toronto Blue Jays bullpen. I think he fits perfectly north of the border. He has the experience, he has the stuff, he still has the talent. He would be a huge piece for the Toronto Blue Jays to pick up, really help secure that bullpen up and give them some more wins this year instead of losses from blown saves. Kenley Jansen, I think, would be a great fit for the Toronto Blue Jays. Next up, we've got Anthony Rizzo, and his market's a little bit weird. First base, there's kind of a lot of talent all around the league, and as Anthony Rizzo's getting older, his value is becoming less and less, but there is one team in particular that could use his left-handed bat, fits perfectly in that stadium, and it just seems like he fits really well with this team. He played pretty well with them down the stretch. Yes, you guessed it, we're sending him back to the New York Yankees. Now, I know that's a boring pick, but really, if you look around the league, there's not too many competitive teams right now that could use a left-handed swinging first baseman. The Yankees feel like the best fit on paper. Last year for the season as a whole, 141 games, 22 homers, 23 doubles, 61 RBIs. The numbers don't jump off the page. A 248 average, 344 on base, 440 slugging, 783 OPS was still good enough for an OPS plus at 111. And there's no doubt that his game is diminishing. He's not the same player that he once was just a few years ago, but the ability to get on base, the ability to play good defense at first, and the fact that he has a left-handed swing built for Yankee Stadium, Anthony Rizzo really is such a good fit in that Yankees lineup, especially because it's so right-hand heavy. I do believe in Luke Voit, and I do think Luke Voit is better than Anthony Rizzo, honestly. But having that left-handed bat in that lineup, especially when they swung and missed on a guy like Corey Seager, who they maybe were never even interested in, it seems like they need to fill that void, and Anthony Rizzo's that guy. Add him to a lineup with Gallo, Stanton, Judge. It's a pretty good lineup right there. And even with the DH, I mean, you can play Stanton in the outfield. There's a way to make Anthony Rizzo work in the Yankees, and I honestly think it's the best fit right now in baseball. For Nick Castellanos, the market is super weird as well. He is a part of this kind of outfield group right now that is a plus bat, not that great defensively, and that's exactly where Nick Castellanos falls. He was great in Cincinnati last year, 34 homers, 38 doubles, 100 RBIs, 309 average, 362 on base, 576 slugging, and 939 OPS, and he would fit perfectly back in that team. He has a swing built for the Great American Ballpark, but we know the Reds aren't going to spend the money. We know Castellanos Castellanos wants to get paid, and there's one team, particularly where Nick Castellanos is from, down in South Florida, that feels like a fantastic fit, and that is the Miami Marlins. And I know that that was my prediction before the offseason really began, but I'm sticking with it. I do think that Nick Castellanos in the corner for the Miami Marlins would be a awesome pickup. We saw them grab Avisail Garcia. We saw them grab Jacob Stallings. We've seen them make some nice moves this offseason, make this team stronger. A guy like Nicholas Castellanos would really help jumpstart this offense quite a bit. Now, of course, his swing would have to adjust to Marlins Park, but even then, he played in Detroit for the majority of his career, and he still had OPSs in the 800s. WRC Plus is well above 100. Nick Castellanos can play in a big park. He obviously would probably prefer to play in a hitter's park, but in Miami, playing in his home area, right where he grew up, I think Nick Castellanos would be a really nice fit for the Marlins. I hope it doesn't happen as a Mets fan, but this would be a huge bat that they could add to their lineup and really jumpstart this offense. Just hard to find 30 and 30 nowadays for what's probably going to be not that expensive in Castellanos. Trevor Story, the kind of forgotten about shortstop on the market this year. I know he had a down year in Colorado last year, but Trevor Story has a great glove, a great bat, he's a great base runner. He's just a very good player all around. Something that really jumped out to me last year in 2021 that doesn't get enough talk is that Trevor Story cut down his strikeouts a ton. He struck out only 139 times last year in just under 600 plate appearances, where in the past, he was getting close to that 170, 180 mark. So that right there is a huge plus sign for Trevor Story. Defensively, OAA doesn't like him, DRS does. Take it how you want to see it. If you watch him play the game, he does have a nice glove, and his bat still is very strong. So where does Trevor Story end up going? What's the best fit for him right now? Personally, to me, against everything and every bone in my body, I think it's the Philadelphia Phillies. Didi Gregorius cannot play shortstop for that team anymore. He's just not good. I was telling you guys this last year, and getting a guy like Trevor Story, who's probably going to be relatively cheap on a short-term contract, he would just absolutely mash in Citizens Bank Park. Now, I know the Phillies have bigger issues, like finding actual other outfielders to play with Bryce Harper, but there's a huge gaping hole on the left side of the infield, and specifically at shortstop, you could get a guy that plays above average defense and has an above average bat to really help out that top of the order with JT Realmuto, Gene Segura, and Bryce Harper, along with Rhys Hoskins. That's a really strong first 5 batters in your lineup. I think the Phillies would be really, really smart to go after a guy like Trevor Story. And again, don't want to see it happen because I'm a Mets fan, but this feels like the best fit for Story. So I actually didn't know that Justin Verlander hadn't officially signed. He's still technically a free agent, so he will go into this video, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet. The best spot for him is the Houston Astros. They need another starting pitcher. They're losing Greinke. Verlander can kind of take over that role a little bit, even though he was better than Greinke in Houston. It's weird. Coming off of Tommy John surgery, you never really know what you're going to get with a guy, but I do think that if anybody can come back and be just as good, it's going to be a guy like Justin Verlander, who the last time we saw him pitch in a season was the Cy Young Award winner, and then the year before that finished second. It's one of the best pitchers of this generation. So I know that there was that rumored contract, and even Ben Verlander tweeted it out, which of course that's Justin Verlander's brother, but technically it's not official. He has not signed the papers yet. Apparently the rumor might be he's just on vacation, but hey, I'll include him in this video, and yeah, the Astros are the best fit. It just makes sense. He's not going anywhere. I'd be shocked. This next player was near and dear to my heart, of course. Roamed the outfield for the New York Mets the last 7 seasons. We're talking about Michael Conforto. A lot of ups and downs with him, but mostly ups. Michael Conforto is a very good offensive player. Defensively, he's about league average out in right field. He makes some nice plays. He also looks terrible sometimes. But at the plate, there is no doubt that Michael Conforto will be a plus hitter for years to come. 2021 was a weird year, coming off of, you know, the weird 2020 season. It just didn't seem like Michael Conforto was ever right, but down the stretch in the second half, he was playing a lot better, looking like the Conforto of old, and it saved a season. The counting number's not great. 14 homers, 20 doubles, 55 RBIs. 232 average, 344 on base, 384 slugging, 729 OPS. There are some things for concern, but you look at what he's able to do from 2017 to 2020, and you know that Michael Conforto can be a special player, a guy who's got really good plate discipline, a 370 on base percentage over that 4-year stretch, an 864 OPS, averaging about 25 homers and 25 doubles a season. It's a really good player, and I think he fits perfectly out west with the San Diego Padres, who desperately need a left-handed bat with some power, especially in the outfield. I know you got Trent Grisham, and Will Myers is technically there, but you're losing Tommy Pham. Michael Conforto slots in perfectly in that outfield, especially in that lineup. That left-handed bat would be huge for them. He gets on base, he hits for some pop, and he's not a horrible defender. Get him around Tatis, Machado, Cronenworth. The Padres are cooking, looking like they're in business, and again, Conforto seems like he's going to sign like this 1-year short-term deal. Padres don't seem like they're going to spend a lot of money. It's a match made in heaven for me. Michael Conforto to the Padres. That's my best fit for him. Let's talk about another generational talent pitcher from this past decade, Clayton Kershaw. Hate to be boring again, but we all know who the best fit is for Clayton Kershaw. No, we're not talking Texas Rangers. No, we're not talking Angels. No, we're not talking Cardinals. It's the Los Angeles Dodgers. 1, it wouldn't feel right if Clayton Kershaw was pitching anywhere else but LA. And 2, like, he really does slot nicely into this rotation, especially after they lost Max Scherzer to the Mets. They could use a guy like Kershaw. Now, we know he wasn't fully healthy in 2021, only pitched 121 innings, but he was still very good. A 3.55 ERA, a FIP at 3.00, a WHIP at 1.019, and he was striking out more batters than he had the last few years, limiting walks, limiting the long ball, and limiting hits. hits, as he always does. He's still an incredibly good pitcher. So yeah, a lot of teams are going to want Clayton Kershaw, but it really does feel like the best fit is still in LA with the Dodgers. It would feel so weird to see him in any other jersey. Kyle Schwarber. Yes, Kyle Schwarber. I'm sorry about that horrible Boston accent, but let's talk about him because he had a really awesome year last year, split between Washington and Boston. In just under 500 plate appearances, 32 homers, 19 doubles, 71 RBIs, hitting 266 with a 374 on base, 554 slugging, and 928 OPS. Your man was raking, and he looked really good with Boston as well down the stretch, including a 435 on base percentage, which gave him an OPS of 957 in his 41 games. And you can probably guess where I'm putting Schwarber based on how I started his segment. He's going back to the Boston Red Sox. At least that feels like the best fit for me. Now, his bat could also fit in San Diego. It could fit in Philly. It could fit back in Washington. It could fit with a lot of teams. But I do think that the Red Sox need for another corner outfielder, because they just got rid of Hunter Renfroe, along with the first baseman, is just kind of the perfect scenario for Kyle Schwarber. And it seemed like he really embraced the city of Boston when he got there. So yeah, I got Kyle Schwarber's best fit as the Red Sox. Carlos Rodon was one of the better stories of the 2021 season. This is a guy who's been dealing with injuries for the last 3, 4, 5 seasons. It feels like every year of his career, he just hasn't been able to be healthy. And last year, while he did only make 24 starts, 132 innings pitched, that was still good enough to finish 5th in the Cy Young voting. Carlos Rodon had a fantastic year. 2.37 ERA, a whip at .957, striking out 12.6 batters per 9, the most of his career, limiting the walks all the way down to 2.4, limiting the long ball, and 6.2 hits per 9. I mean, Carlos Rodon was out of his mind. A FIP at 2.65, like I said. We know he has no hit stuff. We know he has the ability to just shut down teams. His stuff is filthy, and he finally looked healthy. He looked strong. Those are all promising signs. What's a team that needs a frontline starter, possibly even an ace really badly? We're talking about the Los Angeles Angels. Every single season we talk about they need more pitching. They need more pitching. Ohtani's good, and they did grab Syndergaard, but asking for reliable innings out of those guys can be risky. And it's not that there isn't risk with Carlos Rodon, it's just that I think he'll be able to handle more of a workload than those guys, and he's been so good this last year. 5th in the Cy Young voting in the American League. In only 132 innings pitched, Carlos Rodon and the Angels feels so good. They need to grab a pitcher, and Carlos Rodon basically is the best available one right now realistically. How do the Angels not try and go after this guy? He feels like a really good fit for that team. Please help Mike Trout out, help Ohtani out, get them some pitching. This next free agent, I say with quotation marks because it's not really a free agent, but Seiya Suzuki's on his way to Major League Baseball, the Japanese outfielder from the NPB, and he is one of the top guys available right now. He was considered to be kind of the Mike Trout in Japan the last few years. And let me tell you, his 2021 season, yeah, pretty good. 38 homers, 26 doubles, 88 RBIs, hitting 317 with a 433 on base, 636 slugging, 1069 OPS. Now, of course, all numbers in Japan have to be taken with a grain of salt. There's like no guys that even throw 98 over there. But Seiya Suzuki is a ball player. He's a good defensive outfielder, has a cannon of an arm. He's an all-around beast, and teams are going to want him. So who's the best fit for a guy like Seiya Suzuki? Honestly, to me, I think the Texas Rangers. I think the Rangers, who had an aggressive offseason, want to spend money and want to get some butts in seats, go get a guy like Seiya Suzuki. He is supposed to be the next big thing from Japan. That alone will cause excitement. And he is a really good player. They need some outfield help for sure. Seiya Suzuki feels like a really good fit for the Texas Rangers, along with like a list of 10, 15 other teams, because Suzuki is that good, but they want to spend some money, go get a big name, go get some butts and seats in that new stadium. Seiya Suzuki's the guy, and I think he would end up being pretty good out in Texas. For the second to last player, it's going to be Freddie Freeman, and I'm going to keep it short with him because there is one place that makes way too much sense. It is so clearly the best fit for him, and it's the Atlanta Braves. The thing that scares me is the fact that they haven't come to an agreement yet. I mean, Freddie's talked about how much he wants to be in Atlanta. The fans want him, the players, the coaches, his teammates, everybody wants Freddie Freeman back in Atlanta. Well, except me as a Mets fan. But even then, it would feel wrong to see him elsewhere. Freddie Freeman is one of those all-time great Braves. He goes into the Hall of Fame later in his career. He will go in as a Brave. So to think that he couldn't possibly be in Atlanta just feels wrong. They need a first baseman. He's been one of their best players the last few years, if not the best. He won an MVP with them, won a World Series. How do you not bring Freddie Freeman back? This is the only place that feels like the best fit, although there is one more team that I'll mention in the sleeper video that would be real scary if he goes there. But the Braves, they're the best fit, without a doubt. And for the last and final player, a big name, Kris Bryant. Where is Kris Bryant going? Again, a lot of teams can be very interested in him, but I do believe that the best fit for Kris Bryant is going to be the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners have a hole at third base right now. They could also use some corner outfield help, and yes, they do have Kelenic, and they have Taylor Trammell, and they have Mitch Haniger, and they got Julio Rodriguez, who's coming up, and he will be an MVP candidate whenever he does do it. But Kris Bryant's versatility is something that the Mariners should value, and I think a lot of teams around baseball do. The fact that he can play third, first, and all the outfield positions is incredibly valuable, along with the fact that he swings a good bat. In the 7 years of play, this guy has an 880 OPS. He's only really ever been a bad hitter once, and it was for a 34-game stretch in 2020. Who cares? This guy mashes everywhere he goes. Last year in 144 games, 25 homers, 32 doubles, 73 RBIs, even stole 10 bases, hitting 265 with a 353 on base, 481 slugging, 835 OPS. While he did struggle a little bit more with San Francisco than he did Chicago at the beginning of the year, he still finished with an OPS plus of 113 in San Francisco. It just feels like if the Mariners are really trying to make this push, I mean, they won 90 games last year. A guy like Kris Bryant, a veteran who has that experience, could be monumental for the Mariners' success in 2021. Would love to see Seattle get him. At least in my head, Kris Bryant in Seattle feels like the best fit possible. So those are my best fits for the top remaining free agents available on the market. I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What team do you think Carlos Correa is going to? Let me know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Like I said, 2,500 likes. I'll do a sleeper pick video for all these guys. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content, and follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in description. That's where I'm wrapping up today's video, guys. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.